Hi, today we're going to talk about childhood obesity and the myth related to this topic. What I get across a lot, or what I hear a lot, is that childhood obesity is non-treatable. If a child is obese, this is something they will have to deal with for the rest of their life. In actuality, obesity overall in children or in adults is something that we actually could do something about. Now, it is a challenge, but it's something that if we concentrate on and take seriously, we definitely could treat it. We all know it's in the UAE, actually in any country, if you look across today, about 35 to 40% of our children are either overweight or they're obese. This is really dangerous in terms of what could this lead to when they get into their adulthood. So childhood obesity, what's the cause? We're going to talk this quickly because I think these are some of the things that people get wrong. And then what's our recommendation? What should we do? Now, when we talk about cause in obesity in general, it's always, or not always, but most of the time, it's increased caloric intake. Meaning, I like to give always an analogy just like our car. If you fill up your tank, okay, fully, but you don't utilize your car, it will stay fully full and it's not going to be utilized. So when we take calories in and we don't exercise, we don't use it, those calories go and become a storage in our body. Storage in our body means what? Means adipose tissue, or fat tissue means obesity and overweight. So we have to have a life balance. So the calories we take, we have to either burn them by exercising and playing. In children in particular, as you guys all know, especially our generation and before, we were constantly running, we were constantly playing, and therefore it wasn't as dramatic as it is today. So one thing we have to think about when it comes to our kids is that we have to watch the amount of caloric intake they are taking, regardless what kind of diet. So it's not necessarily just because they're eating too much candy or too much sugars. Any caloric intake, yes, just to be a little bit academic, some types of foods could spike our insulin high and could cause obesity, more likely to cause obesity, but I think that's too detailed. But in general, let's watch the caloric intake. The second arm of the equation, which is critical, is we have to increase the activity. We have to get our children out there. As you guys know, today we know that they spend what's called screen time. Because I think people need to understand, be iPad or iPhone or TV or any form of electronics, spending on it and playing video games on it is associated with obesity because it leads to what we call sedentary lifestyle. I eat and then I do nothing, sit and play with my electronics. Definitely that is a risk factor for obesity. And so that's one thing that we would say 90% of cause of obesity, high caloric intake and low activity. Now there's other conditions, especially in children. I advise if there is obese child or overweight, you must take them to your pediatrician, get a fellow evaluation, and be 100% certain that this cause of obesity is due to lifestyle. Because there's other things that could mimic lifestyle obesity in children. We have to make sure they're not that. There could be endocrine problems, especially hypothyroidism, and we need to be 100% sure that our child is not suffering from this. There's genetics diseases as well that could cause this. Okay, and then there's other illnesses as well, for example, steroids, or the patient is taking medication. So always, please take your child to the pediatrician, get a thorough evaluation, do a thorough check, make sure that he or she is not dealing with any medical problems. But if they do, it's a lifestyle issue, the entire family needs to change their lifestyle. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's something that is doable. Thank you.